Liars versus Teen Wolf. Now, Teen Wolf and Pretty Little Liars kind of are sort of running in the summer at the same time for a little bit. And we have been watching Teen Wolf from the beginning, but we haven't been covering it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
I don't know.
Because it's really damn good. And we could have been getting a lot of
good
And
it got better. And that's the thing. It got really good over time.
The first season was just okay.
The first season was okay, right. It wasn't like...
But we've been watching it.
But we've been watching it. Yeah, we have been watching it.
And I've been loving it, and we've just never covered it.
Right.
And we should have, because it really got really good.
It did.
And it just... So when I was watching the last bit of Teen Wolf, I started really thinking about the two shows and how we chose to cover Pretty Little Liars more and not covering Teen Wolf. And I'm like, we should have been covering Teen Wolf because I like this about it and I like this about it and I don't like this about Pretty Little Liars and I don't like this about Pretty Liars. And the more I started making those lists between why I like Teen Wolf and why I like Pretty Little Liars or why I didn't, I got this whole idea to sort of really compare the two. And when I started writing my notes, I realized that there were a lot of things that we could compare between the two of them, which was strange because you wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
And that's how this idea kind of came into my mind. And then it took a while to kind of figure out how we could actually do a show about this. And finally, here we have it. So for all you Teen Wolf fans, I apologize that we have not been covering the show, but we have been watching it, and we do absolutely positively love it.
Yeah, it's good.
And I definitely want to cover it next season.
Back.
Hopefully, if they haven't ruined it. Because
it's the only show on MTV that we would even care to watch.
It's really good. So we are fans and we do like it. So don't take this the wrong way.
Oh God!
If you haven't seen any
if you
of
don't,
our
I know.
stuff,
If you don't know what we do by now,
they may not because we don't really cover Teen Wolf.
Okay.
So if you're new to 2BlackGeeks, we do love the show, even though
Wicked.
Yeah, we love it. We love both shows.
Yeah.
You know, but. Yeah, there's some issues.
we wouldn't be watching it otherwise.
Right.
We don't watch crap. We don't watch stuff we don't like.
Exactly.
We don't hate watch.
We
don't
just
watch it just to cover it. That's that's our main rule is that we don't watch shit just to cover it or just to make fun of it.
Right.
If we don't like the show, we don't watch it.
Right. Period. All right. So Teen Wolf versus Pretty Little Liars.
Okay. All right. Let's start it off.
All right. First of all.
Yes.
The main number one.
Okay.
First thing we are going to versus.
Okay.
We've got the two hot geniuses.
All right. Two hot geniuses.
Yes.
All right. So it's
Mona versus Lydia. These two, probably on each show, are my favorites.
Yes.
I love Lydia.
Okay.
Because they really did not give her much to do.
No, but she's gotten.
They finally gave her
a role on the show.
Even though it's like really.
Well,
the
nothing.
The whining banshee woman. Of all the things, Lydia is too good to be the screaming woman, the banshee.
The screaming woman.
She's got a huge brain, a huge heart. Her character. She's beautiful. Her character is delightful, and that's what you want. That's like the power that you want to give her, Banshee. You guys have just dissed her so bad. You've dissed her so bad. But she is my favorite on the show. I love everything that comes out of her mouth. I really, really do. So she's my favorite on Teen Wolf. Pretty Little Liars. Without a doubt, you guys know Mona is
queen. Mona.
I am queen. I am Mona.
I am queen. I am Mona. Again.
I'm quoting out. I love Mona.
Yes.
I think Mona is also a genius.
Yes.
Pretty Little
Yes,
Liars.
she is.
She has.
She's
super.
They
super
made
genius.
the parallel between her and Spencer as far as intellect or whatever. You know, them sparring.
She again, beautiful actress.
You know?
She's the best character on the show, and she brings the most personality to the show.
And look at the fashion.
Yeah, she's got all kinds of yummy fashion.
Remember that?
that bag and that phase. Yeah, I do remember that.
The cardigan phase.
But similarly on both shows, they don't give either one of these girls enough screen time.
No.
Lydia has gotten more screen time as the show has progressed. And now she actually is more like a part of it. But before she was kind of an offshoot.
Yeah.
And that was a shame because she's good. Mona.
Yeah, she was kind of just Jackson's girlfriend kind of a thing.
And on and off.
And Styles' love interest.
Yes.
And that's always been, she's always been, Styles always been trying to,
Absolutely.
get her or whatever.
And they
so,
progressed
yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
she needs more screen time. She's more interesting than the main chick.
Yes.
Okay, Scott's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I don't care about her.
Yeah.
She's like Mia Sarah Light. I don't care
Yes,
about
sir.
her. Both actresses bring something really unique to both shows, and both shows just diss them. They do not give them what
don't
they
give
deserve.
them what they deserve,
They
yeah.
both have the best lips. They're both.
They should have spun up a
prettiest-
show for Mona. Mona has more fans than Ravenswood does. Why didn't they just make Mona like, When Mona was everyone loved the show.
Right.
Even the fans got crazy.
Yes.
And
yes.
Mona Mania was like Mona Mania.
More
Mona.
Mona.
And it was
Right.
awesome.
Right.
That was awesome.
You would think that they would
art.
understand that
Yeah.
momentum and take that
And
momentum
take that
and
and
do
put-
something with it.
Not Caleb.
But it's the same with Lydia. Lydia is probably one of the most popular characters. For like most people watch the show for the guys, but I'm saying like Lydia is a very popular character. Everybody loves her. So you would think that because of the fan base, give them these women more. Teen Wolf is a very male-focused show, but they have 2 females on the show. One of them is epic. The other one can go.
And all the others to keep killing off.
Right. Pretty Little Liars has nothing but girls on it, but most of the girls have no real personality. Mona is delicious. So as far as the verses, I think both of them are underrated, but both of them have very huge fan bases. I can't say that there's a definitive winner here for me because I think both actresses and both characters make the shows worth watching.
Yes, they do. They bring something to the shows that if they weren't there, the shows would not be the same.
Right, absolutely.
You can honestly say that. Like, if Mona wasn't on Pretty Little Liars, would you
No.
like it as much? No.
When she's not on there, I don't like it. That whole season that was about her was the best season.
It was.
And the more Lydia, which was like in the last season, she's actually a banshee, but she was in a lot of the episodes.
She was in all the episodes,
Yeah.
right.
She's great. Both actresses deliver on their scenes, and they have characters that are so interestingly written
Yeah.
that you would think that there would be more of them. Do you have a definitive winner on this one?
I'm gonna come. That's tough. I'm gonna come down on Mona though. Yeah, I have to come down on Mona on that one.
I think because her
was,
character is more filled out.
Yeah, exactly.
On Pretty Little Liars.
yeah.
She's actually had an actual.
She's actually had
role
a
and something
role.
to do.
And we had a lot of fun with Mona.
Oh yeah.
During that whole season. My shit's tight.
And she really shows her.
But I really do. I mean, it took a while. Like if you watch Teen Wolf, it leads up to when you finally get to like the end of where it left off. You're like, yeah, Lydia's awesome.
Right, but she's been awesome.
But she's been awesome.
But in these little bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I want her to be awesome in general.
Right, in general, right, and
I hope
be a part of the show.
now that they've gotten rid of all the women.
Yeah.
I hope that they give her more.
Yeah.
More to do. She's such a great character, and I was really thinking about that last season. Even though that scene bothered me a little bit because it was very serious, where she was talking about trying to cover up the scar on her neck, and then she didn't want to cover it up.
Yeah.
And then her mother's like, "Are we gonna do your hair?" She's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do my hair." Like that stuff, I really like.
And her mom is Tyler's mom from. She's always out from Vampire Diaries. She got killed on Vampire Diaries, and then they put her on Teen Wolf.
I'm gonna go with Mona as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go.
I want them.
Not to say
I
that-
want them to make Lydia
make Lydia more of a
character.
thing,
yeah. Number 2.
All
right.
So it's Bianca Lawson on Pretty Little Liars
versus Bianca Lawson on Teen Wolf. Bianca, honey, look, you have had no role on either show.
This would be here. This would be some lipstick lesbian, and then and pot smoker, and then to be reformed at whatever that camp was.
Camp reform lesbian
lesbians. Lesbian pot smokers. And then to get killed.
Bianca.
I don't know.
Look.
I don't know.
At least you were a better looking lesbian.
But originally she was on Buffy. Remember I was saying she was on Buffy? She was that other Slayer from Jamaica.
Towards the end.
Yeah.
The Jamaican Slayer.
Please, I'm an expert in all weapons.
Is everything all right?
Yeah, it's okay. Kendra killed the bad lamb.
No one's gonna buy your Jamaican. You are so light. If you were in Jamaica, you would burn to a crisp. No one's buying that just because you got your braids up there.
She had braids. She had all the but
And
she
just
was.
because you say "mon" does
She
not
was
mean
exactly.
Bianca, on Pretty Little Liars, you had no role.
Yeah, no.
You were just there to bring that lesbian controversy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And then
being that crunchy granola bitch.
you disgusting bohemian crunchy granola bitch.
Crunchy granola
And
bitch.
then when you then she was gone for a long time.
Oh God, yeah, they sent her to that camp, and they were like,
No,
"Go
no,
away."
But then she was after she
Yeah.
died, she was gone. And
Gone,
then
gone.
I hadn't seen her for a while.
Yeah,
and then
gone.
she showed up in Teen Wolf
And we were
as,
like,
as the guidance
Say
counselor.
what? Oh wait, yeah, no. I know my shit. No, you don't.
Tell me about your problems with your ironed hair. I'm not buying it. Bianca did nothing, and then it turned out that she was what the guardian
She was
druid of the crazy alphas.
Of the alphas, yeah.
And look at her; she has the same face. I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what
here.
I'm doing here. That's right. Tell them we want this, and tell them we want this.
Okay, we want
Okay,
this.
we want this,
and we want this.
yeah. we need eggs, and we need bread.
Eggs and bread.
And we need to heal our other alpha. Tell them.
Can I get some pot and can I get a girlfriend after this? You did nothing
You know?
on either show. Did she actually officially get killed on Teen Wolf?
She got stabbed by Deucalion, but she didn't die.
So is she gonna
Deucalion
come back?
stabbed him, and then she talked to her cousin or whatever. And
Right.
you're like, what the fuck are you doing
Who's
here?
epic?
He's like, why are you here on the show?
Go back to Jamaica.
Go back to Jamaica. She's technically another druid, so she can do druidy things with this dude.
But she didn't do druidy things.
She didn't
At the
really. She
beginning,
threw her little
at the
mountain
beginning,
ass
the
circle
beginning
up there.
of the last episode of Teen Wolf, where they showed that black chick who really kicked ass and
Yeah.
got killed. I was like,
And
is
that's
that
the chick
her?
that she sent, right?
Right.
She
I'm like,
sent
why
her, yeah.
can't you? Why can't you do it? You're the guidance counselor. That's your, look, druid guidance counselor. I'm not buying it. Bianca, I'm sorry. Exactly.
Take me seriously. No, I'm not
No,
going to
no,
take
no.
you seriously.
So it comes down to which role was she more
which one?
more useless?
I liked her better as Maya, honestly.
Really?
She's useless here. She has no role in Teen Wolf. She's just like, literally, she's around. Make sure you tell them we want eggs and juice.
They want eggs and
You know,
juice.
they want, yeah, exactly. You really? You're a pack of fucking alphas. You can't speak for yourself. You can't talk to somebody
No.
and say you need her to run your errands for you.
And she didn't run them well.
You know, make sure you use starch. You know, I get my dry clean. Make sure you use starch. No,
On
she's
Pretty
useless
Little
here.
Liars,
On Pretty Little Liars, she had a role.
At
She
least
was
she
Maya.
had a role. She was Maya.
She had something to say.
She kissed well.
She kissed well.
And she was better looking than the other
you know,
chick
and
that-
she
that
and
Emily
she
ended up
did
with.
help Emily deal with her
her
issue,
gayness
her
or
gayness
whatever.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, she had a good attitude. You know,
She
she dealt
was-
dealt with all that bullshit.
When
She dealt
she
with all
came
of
onto
Emily's
the show,
bullshit.
she was
and
really
her parents'
refreshing.
bullshit. Yes,
Because
exactly.
she was crunchy. She smoked
She was
pot.
different, you
She
know.
was very different from
You know.
everybody else.
Yeah.
And that gave the show like this freshness that I really liked.
Yeah.
Why they killed her off, I had no idea.
I don't know.
And like she seemed to actually be a good element.
Yeah, that was
for the
it was
show.
kind of surprising because it was like there was nothing wrong with Maya.
No, there was nothing
Maya.
wrong with her. She actually was a good character on the show. She brought something to the group. So yeah, she was actually better utilized on Pretty Little Liars.
She was better utilized. on
If
Pretty
you're
Little
gonna put her on Teen Wolf, if you're gonna put a
Didn't do
female
anything.
on Teen Wolf, at least give her something.
She
to
did
do.
like a little. She didn't need like this. Like when what's her face showed up with Allison on Teen Wolf. She showed up at that warehouse or whatever, and she was like,
Yeah,
"You need to go home." And this is like, that's it.
that's it.
That's the
all she
extent
did.
of your fighting skill.
Bianca.
You know, please. You're the guidance counselor. And that's what she said. The guidance counselor, really?
So yeah, a Pretty Little Liars wins on this one again because she actually had a role on that show.
Yeah, she did.
Bianca, I'm sorry.
Bianca, no.
Useless on 2 shows.
Yeah,
That's
really.
a damn shame. Number 3.
Okay.
We
This is
hot fashion
hot fashion
versus
versus.
naked men.
Well, you can see it right here.
Okay. This is kind of the thing that differentiates. Pretty Little Liars
Yes.
is known for a lot of women who have really epic clothes.
Epic clothes.
It appeal. It's funny because they have the same really demographic. Okay, teen girls.
Right.
Both shows.
Right.
Same age. Okay, this is more teen girly because the fashion is amazing. The girls are beautiful, and you just want to look at their clothes, their shoes, and their handbags. Teen Wolf.
Yeah. Teen Wolf, on the other hand.
Same demographic. Teenage girls.
But
When they're tired of buying clothes for themselves,
they want to look at naked
they
men.
want to look at naked men.
And I mean, every character, every male character, naked.
Naked.
Jackson was always naked. Naked.
Look,
Okay. Naked. They're all naked all the time. Naked. Oh.
Jack. Oh.
He's always naked.
Jackson, come back. Jackson, come back.
Hello. Hi. No, I'm going away.
No. When I'm not the camera.
When I'm not the cameo.
the camera,
I'm Jackson.
Jackson's naked.
Jackson is always naked.
The alpha guy is naked. Oh, Derek is naked.
Derek is always naked.
Naked. We are always talking about the naked exploitation of men thing, if you're not familiar with us. Constantly. Men are now the new exploited actors. It used to be actresses, pretty breasts, whatever. Now it's men. Unfortunately, men have a lot more work to do because they have to be naked right down to the hip dents.
Yeah.
Like Jackson.
Everything. Like Jackson. Where's Jackson?
Bring Jackson back.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
right
down
to the hips.
below the navel, practically.
And
you know?
he's not as ripped
No.
as the twins from Europe.
But this guy.
Hi,
how are you? But and like any reason for them to take off their shirt, they could be sneezing or whatever. They're just naked. They're naked all the time. In school. Don't walk down the hallway in school and just take off their shirts.
Hi.
Naked. They're literally like they'll come into school like da 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 da. Oh, there's an outfit there. It's like, oh, there's literally. I'm saying, oh, what is this French?
In gym class, they're fully clothed.
I know, in gym class they're fully. Oh, I gotta put my shirt on. What is this? A show? No.
Naked.
Is it lunchtime already?
Naked. You kind of keep doing that, and it kind of reminds me of Jeremy with his white Hulk thing. But naked.
Always naked.
The only naked man on Pretty Little Liars was Toby.
Yes.
Because I think he's the only male that's big enough. They did show Caleb getting into the tub on
God, that was so awful. Oh, I didn't want to talk about that, but yes. There's pictures online of him because there's a point where he goes like that, and there's just tons of people that are taking that picture and doing all kinds of nasty shit to it because it looks like he's jerking off. I was like, it's just so bad.
The only naked guy on Pretty Little Liars is Toby.
Yes.
And he was not originally like that, but then...
No, but he got huge.
He had to do all that. All of this.
All that.
Yeah.
All that.
He's the only guy...
He was ripped enough to say...
To
be
look like
beefcake,
that.
right.
And now that he looks like that, his shirt is off all the time.
All the time. Because
Actually,
otherwise we have Lucas. Right? or Jason. And Jason's not even all that buff.
He had his shirt off.
He had his shirt off a few times, but he's not really that buff. And of course we have.
All the guys on Teen Wolf are huge.
Yeah, I mean,
huge.
even and this is Isaac and
the gay guy,
and the gay guy who has more of a role on the show than Lydia sometimes. Honestly, I don't know how that is, but even he's always shirtless too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, these dudes.
Nothing. So
it's always naked. All of them. All of them.
It's interesting because it's the same demographic.
Yes.
But I think, Teen Wolf is for the racy girls who like the naked guys.
Yes.
But it's interesting to me because of this, they have the same demographic generally. how drastically different. There's the show for the fashion nuts and the
Yes.
show for the buff boys.
Yes.
So the fact that every man on the show is naked 24 hours a day, the fashion for the women sucks. The only person who has good fashion is Lydia.
Yeah.
And she usually looks about the same. She's got some
a,
pretty epic
yeah,
taste in
she's got
clothes.
she's got her own style.
But I can't say that they put a lot. If they're going to put a lot of effort into it, it's in Lydia. Everyone else is
Allison
pretty.
had a good outfit on that one.
Like one or two.
One or
good
two, but there was
outfits.
there was that one where it was right after her mom died or whatever, and she wanted to get revenge on Derek because they
Yep.
said Derek killed her. So she was under the covers, and her dad came in. He was
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Oh,
she pretended to be asleep.
yeah, she pretended to be asleep, or she wasn't feeling well. She was like, "Oh, you don't have to go to school today. You can."
Yep, and then she
do
came
it."
out.
And she got, whoa, she had boots, and she had, she was looking nice. She
Yeah.
was looking nice. That was a good outfit.
But it's like one or two.
Yeah.
One or two.
Yeah, that was it.
So there's really not. It really is fashion versus nakedness.
Yeah.
Ultimately, is what
Yeah.
this one is.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say that the fashion. I mean, aside from counting the number of
abs,
on each guy,
know.
I prefer.
collective ab counting. How many abs are on Teen Wolf? 104. If you count them all.
I prefer Mandy's fashion. Her epic fashion.
I like clothes.
I like clothes.
We're clothes people.
We're clothes
we
people.
like clothes.
It's not that the naked guys
No.
aren't appealing,
No.
but when there's 80 of them all the time on the screen, it's not as
Hello.
it's not it's not as interesting.
What?
It's not as interesting, I guess, because like I get bored with.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess some people. It's like guys who never get tired of looking at women's breasts or
What?
whatever. And yes.
When you
I've
say
done-
women's breast?
The idea that these guys are like working their tails off and starving themselves
Yeah.
in order to be on these shows doesn't appeal to me. I didn't like it when women were having to do it either. And I really don't like it now that guys are doing it because guys have their own issues. Women have a lot of issues, body issues. Men actually, I think, are starting to have just as many
Yeah, you
as
kidding me?
the women now. And it's unfortunate because I
I just want to be loved.
I love you now.
Put your clothes back on. Okay, fine.
Though that is a nice shirt.
Yeah, it is a nice shirt.
I don't like watching what the men are having to
Well,
do.
what did he say? He was like, "This are the Hunger Games."
Yeah, him and his twin or whatever were like, all we do is work out and we don't
Work
eat.
out and we don't eat, and we look like this.
But it's like what they did to friggin' Jeremy on
God,
on
yeah,
Vampire Diaries.
They tore him up
And he looked funny and weird.
because
and,
his body was not. His body couldn't respond to it. Like they were really getting him to bulk up and they tried to sculpt
too
him
fast.
but his body couldn't do
Yeah,
it that
couldn't
fast.
do
Not
it
everyone
that
can everyone can look like that.
It's a
It is a
metabolism sort of
metabolism
thing.
thing too. You know.
But watching that is not
You
something
know?
that I enjoy.
The speed at which he had to bulk up was just no.
Yeah, I think it's really unrealistic and unhealthy.
Yeah.
And it's like every show now has a naked guy on
Yeah,
it.
because what's his name from Arrow?
Yeah,
Stephen
Amell. Yeah.
He already was
worked
working.
his
He worked his ass
ass
off
to get
anyway.
that way, yeah.
So he got Arrow because he already had the body. It was built in. You get the actor and you get the body.
And now his cousin has to do or whatever. Naked men don't interest me. I'm not interested in it, and it's not because I'm more interested in the naked women either. I'm all for the naked guys.
Yeah.
But there's just too many of them on the show, and it just makes it seem like a beefcake show where the idea is just to get in as many shirtless guys as possible on every shot. And
Did you say shirtless?
I would rather see really good fashion. That interests me, and
Yeah.
I love what Mandy does on Pretty Little Liars. So unfortunately, again, Pretty Little Liars wins this versus because we're just really fashion-oriented
We're kind of fashion horse. Yeah.
people. And not because, again, it's not really about the beauty factor.
No, both things. We see the appeal of both things,
Absolutely.
obviously, and yes, like you said, the demographics.
Demographic is the same.
The same.
But
for
there's
the
only,
shows,
but
you know?
every time there's a guy on the screen and he's topless, there's nothing. I'd rather him be in a nice shirt
Yeah. You'd rather him be in a nice shirt.
Right.
And then every now and again, you take it off.
Right. But then I could be like, oh, that's like a really nice shirt.
Yeah.
And then, oh, he looks nice underneath.
Oh, he looks nice underneath. Right, exactly. And that's what it used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be that. I remember when, when old TV.
Because you're 50.
Yeah, well, I mean, when the demographics for TV back then, like in the 80s and in the 80s, the age demographic was a lot higher.
Yes.
So there was a level of maturity, I guess, in terms of when you had the beefcake factor, if at all. The guy just had to be good looking. His face had to be good looking.
It was all about the face.
Yeah, if his
back
face
then,
was nice face, it didn't matter what his, if his
you-
upper body was
because you
okay.
really-
Because
you
you never really saw anything past the
Because
pecs
it was
anyway.
the 80s.
Yeah,
It was the 80s. And if a guy was shirtless, it was some sort of Lifetime movie.
or literally like a fantasy,
Yeah,
woman's fantasy. He was just getting out of the shower and he had his towel on.
Right, something
kind
like
of
that.
a thing.
Now,
or he's drying
with
off.
teenage girls,
Now it's just like,
it's nakedness all the time.
any reason to take your goddamn shirt off, you will take it. I'm going to get some eggs from this. Any little bit of, oh, I have to lift this box. I have to take my shirt off.
Yeah. We get it. And yes,
I mean, it's a drinking game at this point. Anytime a guy takes his shirt off, take a drink.
The guys are good looking. The guys are, they're sculpted. They're great. They're looking good. And that's wonderful. But I find it boring after a while. And maybe it's my age. I don't know.
Well, I guess we have to think of it as fan service.
It is fan service. I'm just saying, for me, even when I was a teenager,
even fan service gets tired.
that wouldn't interest me.
Yeah.
I've always been more of a clothes person.
Yeah.
So Pretty Little Liars wins this versus as well. I didn't think they would win so many. Because we just prefer the fashion. But yes, the guys are delicious. Keep starving yourselves. Because that's healthy. Number 4, which is all women and all men.
Yeah, all women.
All women.
All women cast.
All male
all
cast.
male cast.
So this is sort of similar. Yeah. Okay, same demographic. Teenage girls. One show is all about girls.
Yeah.
And their boyfriends.
Yeah.
The other show is all about men.
Yes.
And they don't really have girlfriends.
They have male
Friends.
colleagues. No, friends. What do you call them?
Bros.
Bros. They're all in the same pack. Because even like,
women.
like on Pretty Little Liars, even like the secondary characters are all women. You had Paige and Cece came in. But then for the male characters, all you have is like Lucas
and
Jason
and Caleb.
And Toby and Caleb, right? And Mr. Ravenswood.
You just keep putting that picture up there. Where he has the nerve to think he's hot. Look at him!
He thinks he's the max!
Like, you are not.
I am the shit right here. Yeah, but on Teen Wolf, every character is male. Even the druid, pawning off his druid.
Except for the women who they all killed off.
They did. They killed off every single chick. Isaac is a new wolf, but they didn't kill him off. Gerard. They killed off that chick.
That chick?
Yeah. She was on there for that one season, and then they were like, get out of here.
They killed off the crazy cousin chick.
Crazy cousin?
Yeah, that hated Derek.
Oh, yes.
That now hosts the show.
The Argent.
Argent.
Yeah, her.
They killed off the mother, Argent.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Okay. It seems like Teen Wolf is a little, I'm not going to say it's woman-hatey.
No.
It seems like
it's
they
more
have no
focused about
interest.
the guys. Yeah.
It's more about the pack.
It's more about the pack.
The bros.
The bros.
They need to put the gay guy in the pack, I feel that they need a gay member of the pack.
Yeah.
A gay wolf.
It seemed like it was leading to that, but I don't know if they're going to do that or not.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to do that.
And then they killed Jackson off to put him on Arrow.
They didn't kill him off. He's the American werewolf in London.
But yeah, the Teen Wolf is all about the men, all about the bros, all about the bromance.
And the bromance, yes.
And the fact that they have a gay character on there who's with one of the main guys is
the twins they left on. They brought in 2 more guys.
Right. And one of them is
And yes, they count as 2. I don't care if they're twins or not.
Even
there's still
though they
2 more guys.
Into
there's still 2 guys that you put on the show.
They brought 2 guys into the show, and one of them has a boyfriend, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty Little Liars, one of them has a girlfriend. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's mostly
all
women.
chicks. Yeah.
As far as the main characters go.
Yeah.
Mostly chicks.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. I have to vote for Teen Wolf on this one because there are very few shows that are all about men that where the men are not all
Yeah, exactly.
love you, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
it's
a
about
lot. There's a lot of testosterone
There
on the
is.
show, but all the men are really good friends, and not
Yeah.
and not these kinds of friends.
Right.
You
They're
know,
not. Yeah.
They're
It's
huggy
a little bit.
friends.
Yeah.
They're closer.
Yeah.
To each other.
That relationship between Styles and Scott is
Yeah,
like,
they're actually
that's
closer to
perfect,
each other. Most
you know?
male-centric shows, the men are older, so they're very offstandish. There's a very
there's always
there's a man
there's always
barrier.
a boundary.
Yeah.
But like Teen Wolf, like I like the way that they dealt with, not that they have to or anything like that, but having a gay character in the show, you have to deal with that.
especially for men.
Yeah, exactly.
But
you
he's
know?
like,
but
they don't
he's
care.
like, they don't care, you
Yeah.
know, like, and that is like one of the first shows where it's not an issue at all.
And they don't even.
And they
I
even-
keep forgetting.
I keep forgetting too until they say, "Oh, that's the gay bar" or whatever. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like there was that story arc where they went to the gay bar to find this dude or whatever. So, you know, like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, they have the jokes here and there, but like nobody cares. Even the gay guy doesn't care. He's just like whatever. You know,
yeah.
fuck you guys. You know, like it's not a big issue.
No.
You know?
And I
He's
like
gay,
that- and I
big
like
deal.
that it
And they
isn't.
make jokes about it. You know,
Rarely.
they do every
barely-
now and
it
again, but it
barely
really
comes
comes
up.
up.
Dude, everyone in here's a dude. I think we're in a gay club.
Man, nothing gets past those teen werewolf senses, huh, Scott?
That's why I'm gonna
It's
give
matter
it.
of fact.
I'm gonna give it to it because
Yeah,
I've
it's
never
very
seen
matter
a
of
show
fact.
where all the testosterone isn't like everywhere.
Yeah,
And
no.
it's not like a dick contest everywhere.
No.
I like all the relationships between all the guys, and maybe it's
And
because,
it's mainly
because
because
it's a pack show.
It's
you
a
know?
pack show, and it's mainly because the guys have to appeal to the girls
Yes,
watching the show.
yes.
They're not trying to appeal to other guys.
Yes,
So,
yes,
so
you're
maybe
right about
other
that.
guys might look at it and go, "Oh, that's somewhat unrealistic, considering the stupid shit that guys do and how immature they are."
Right.
But these guys are much more mature, let's say, than maybe the typical guy
Yeah.
in that situation. Okay.
Because all the guys, like
So-
for example, in Pretty Little Liars, are all. They don't even have plots together.
They don't.
Rarely
don't.
do they have plots together.
Toby and Caleb had that whole team up.
But that like,
for, like,
but
one
they
episode.
were over here.
Yeah, they
you
were.
do this and I'll do this. They don't even stand near each other on the screen.
They did in that one scene where they
That
were
was
both
it.
on the computer or whatever.
That was it.
That was it.
You want some water? I'll get you a
get you
sandwich.
some
It
water.
was weird.
You want to order some pizza?
Yeah, it just was weird. I like Teen Wolf because
was
I don't like
awkward.
man-centric shows because they tend to be so
Awkward.
awkward and just
Really awkward.
boring, and all the men are just like grunting. Teen Wolf, actually, I love the characters' relationships, and that's what makes it work for me.
Yeah.
Pretty Little Liars is a given. All the girls get along, and they're not catty, and I wouldn't like it if it was catty.
Mm.
But at the same time, they're not as interesting for me because
And
there's,
they
there's
made
tons of shows where girls get
And
along.
they made the gay thing and the lesbian thing way overblown.
Way overblown.
That it's still going on. Honestly,
Honestly.
in some cases, it's still going on.
There's so many shows about women where women are, and the women are always getting along. They don't fight. When the liars fight, it's weird.
It is weird.
It's really awkward and strange, and it
really
doesn't
weird.
fit them. So, like, I've seen all of that. I've never seen a show like Teen Wolf where the guys are friends and bros and they do stuff and they actually talk to each other and they express how they feel and they're good and they're cool
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
That's
and
where
I, and
it
I
wins for
really
me.
liked and kind of an offshoot to that, I really liked how they're taking the whole coming of age, let's say male
Yeah,
teen,
yeah,
and lumping that with becoming an alpha.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
it's
really well done.
witches and werewolves.
Witches and werewolves,
It's the same
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
For witches, it's
For
all
wi-
about
it's
women's
for male,
power
women,
and
female
coming
power,
into your
coming
power.
into your power.
Werewolves is all
but,
about
but
men.
they did it really well because
Yes,
they could have done it ham-handedly, you know. But they did it really well as far as the responsibility and
Yep.
you know just how
and
that was
it
done.
being about your character.
And being about your character and seeing Scott's, you
right.
know,
who you are as a
arc.
person, the kind of
Exactly,
friend you are,
know?
the kind of man you are.
The kind of
That's
man you
what
are,
makes
yeah.
you an alpha, not like taking power
it's
and all
not-
that.
yeah,
It
it's not
totally
about-
did that well.
right.
That's why it wins, I think, for
Yeah.
me, because it's different from the male perspective, and there's not a lot of shows that offer
Derek was always about, I'm an alpha. I'm an alpha. You know, it just every 5 minutes, I'm an alpha. Because that whole first season was about his
And
uncle
he's a
or
bad
whatever.
alpha.
Yeah,
He's
he's
the
a
worst
terrible
alpha there is.
about the other Hale, his uncle or grandfather
Yeah.
or whatever, who was the alpha, and then he got killed by Derek's sister, who was the most uninteresting character in the world. and they got rid of her.
That's why she's a host of a TV show now.
No. Not that chick, not the Argent chick. The other chick that you don't even remember. That she's that uninteresting. Derek's sister, remember? Derek came back. Where's my sister? I'm an alpha. Right?
Yeah.
And then she finally came back.
The chick who's a werewolf?
Yes.
Who
The other chick.
Who Styles kind of liked, sort of.
Not the one with
The chick who he
seizures.
brought back with his power, where he gave up his alpha status.
That was his sister.
That's his sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She really was.
She was not
interesting.
she's not interesting.
What was her
at
name?
all.
Nora?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Nora Hale. Yeah. The whole first season was about him trying to find his sister and deal with his.
And didn't she just show up one day?
And she just showed up one day.
I don't even understand.
Oh, an alpha! Oh,
Yeah,
you know,
he's a
and the
bad
whole
alpha.
thing, and finally he became an alpha. And what did he do?
He
Nothing.
made
He
stupid
made
betas.
Isaac. Yeah. And I kind of do like Isaac, but yeah, the black guy.
They kept Isaac because he has that appeal.
Yeah, the black guy and the other chick. Who cares?
Yeah.
They were useless.
Yeah.
Absolutely useless.
They were useless.
You know.
But yeah,
So-
I agree with you, and again, that's why this Teen Wolf wins this versus.
Yeah.
Because the
They
male
keep the-
aspect
right.
is so interesting.
And if the girls
and
get in the
refreshing.
way, get rid of them.
But that's why they. But I think honestly, that's why.
Bros
they-
before hoes. That's what that comes down to. Bros before hoes. if the hoe is getting in the way, get rid of her.
I do
That
like
chick is
that.
too pretty. Get rid
And,
of her.
and I really think that that's what their focus is, which is why they get rid of all of the female
They
characters.
get those chicks out of
And they
there.
focus on the pack
Yeah.
aspect so much.
Well, that's another thing too. If you're trying to appeal to girls, you either make a Pretty Little Liars, which is all about girls,
Yep, and their
girl
boyfriends.
dramas and
Yep.
boyfriends, or you have no girls on there at all guys.
Yeah.
Because any girl in there is a threat.
Is a threat to the fan base.
Is a threat to the fan
Right,
base
and,
or a threat
and,
to the
and
characters
Lydia is
and
so
stuff like that.
lovable, and the
Right.
other chick is
And the
not.
chicks are too busy
Yeah.
shipping Styles and Derek. Sir, you need to do a Google search for Steric. Because that shit is out of control, y'all.
Styles and Derek? What
That
about
is
Styles and Scott?
No. There's a few.
Or
Not
Scott,
as-
Scott and Jackson?
No, none of that. It's Steric. That is the number one.
I don't see
Number
that.
one.
I don't see that. I could see
You-
Styles and Scott, and I could see Scott and
No.
Jackson.
No. Steric. That is number one. You back me up, fans, because that shit is out of control.
Their relationship
Steric.
is so messed up,
Steric.
though.
Or there's a three-way between
No.
Styles, Derek, and Scott. Sometimes they do that, and there's a whole furry thing too. Yeah, no.
What?
It's Steric, and there's a lot of fan fiction about Styles becoming a werewolf too. But yeah, Steric. Huge.
Styles and Derek
huge,
is a no.
Huge.
It's a no for me.
Huge. And they take every opportunity, every picture, it's as bad as the Winchester brothers. Seriously, it's as bad as that. You know how far they go with that? They go
Wincest.
They go further than Wincest a little bit. You know, with the whole Steric thing. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Styles
Yes,
and Derek, I
it actually does work in certain situations. Like you have to look at the pictures that they do.
Lawrence, I can't give it. I know.
It's not bad. I can see it.
Styles and Derek is weird.
And it's funny because it's been going on for quite some time, and then the episode where Styles was like holding Derek up in the pool,
Yeah.
away from the camera or whatever, that became a huge thing. There was that one where they both remember when Derek stung him or whatever and paralyzed him, and they're on the ground looking at each other. It's everywhere, and if you look, and like they're always kind of in these weird pairings, and people are just running with it. They're just running with
Steric.
it. Steric, yes.
Number 5.
You can't get it out of your head now. Wait until you see some of the pictures. Woo! There's whole tumblers, man. Whole tumblers. Several tumblers.
Number 5. Number 5.
Number 5. What's number 5?
Plot versus no
plot versus plot. And we did kind of discuss this.
Pretty Little Liars
Yeah, there's nothing there, man.
technically is based on a book series, and therefore it should have a plot. I don't know how closely they followed past first season, the actual book, but now they just make things up. And we've said before, the beautiful thing about Pretty Little Liars is that they do everything with flashback. So they create the story by just making new scenes with flashbacks instead of actually having a story to begin with. They can make up anything and just say, see, there's a flashback. Teen Wolf didn't actually have anything except for a movie base to go from.
Right.
And that was fine.
And the cartoon.
And the cartoon came from the movie. So the TV show is based on the movie franchise, let's call it, okay? So the plot is pretty well set up. It's Teen Wolf. But it's open.
Yeah.
So you're going to take this and make this about a coming-of-age young boy story, and you can go anywhere with that. The beautiful thing about Teen Wolf, which is what I'm constantly tweeting about when it comes to Teen Wolf, is that every season there's a story.
Yes.
That they work through from
Definitive
episode
story.
1 to the episode whatever, 20, whatever, and they finish it. Each season has one arc, and there's hardly any like subplots in there.
Right.
It's one story that they actually write.
beginning to
that's
end.
very clear,
Yep.
and you watch it and it ends.
Yes.
And the next
And the
season,
next
it
season's about
starts a new
something else.
story.
Yeah.
Pretty Little Liars just
Make shit up.
Every season they just make up something.
Wherever they start in the beginning of the season, you do not end
No,
anywhere near it
no.
at the end of the season.
It pretends to be a mystery, but it's not a mystery because they just make
they
up
change
things.
and they make right and left turns wherever the hell they want.
Right.
And you can go for 2 or 3 episodes in a completely different direction.
And they have
and then
so many subplots.
Back up and turn around. Yeah.
So many subplots that there's so many characters on the show that they try to get stories.
And then they
to.
try to tie everything up at the end by killing everybody off.
Right, in the Halloween episode. And that is
right.
not a story.
No.
Teen Wolf has been consistent from season
You're
1
right.
with actual stories each season, and that's where you have my attention.
Yes.
I want to follow one story. I
And
don't
I wanna
care
follow these
about
characters
every
through it, yeah.
character. I don't care if they have their subplots with their girlfriends or their chickens or their
That's
parents or their dogs.
kind of a given. There's always going to be subplots between characters. That's just
But they're not important.
Yeah.
They're not important.
It's not as
enough
important
to
to
dedicate
the
whole episodes to them,
Exactly.
unless it's part of the main story, which they
Yes.
do on Teen Wolf.
Yes.
If there's a subplot, it's because it's part of the main story and it's actually important.
Yes.
I like having a plot to follow that shows good writing. It shows good planning. Okay. Pretty Little Liars.
Even in the
doesn't require
first
any
season when
planning.
Teen Wolf had no money.
No money, but they had a story.
You know,
and
right.
that's what made it work.
Yep.
Pretty Little Liars has a host of people writing the damn show, and they all sit around and they just start making stuff up. What would be interesting to do here?
Right, exactly.
How can we throw off the audience here? How even Lost had a plot structure. Okay? It may have seemed like it was going here, 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 and here, and here, but they had that planned up to a certain point. It wasn't until later that they started making things up to try to throw off everybody who already figured it out. They actually did have a written piece of material for the first few seasons. Pretty Little Liars had one season of an actual plot. First season ended where it was like, this is going to be great. This is going to be very interesting to watch. And then they just started making stuff up. Wouldn't it be interesting if Allison did this? Well, she didn't do that. She did in this flashback. There's no creativity there. There's a creative genius to being able to just make something up and then make a flashback and have the audience believe that you had it planned the whole time. But that's not writing. Teen Wolf actually has writing. They actually have people who are writing the story and keeping it consistent. Episode after episode for a whole season, and then it's done. It stops. It's not who is the cameo for 3 seasons.
Oh, God.
Okay? It's not who is A for 3 seasons, so A is this, A is... No, we actually have one story that you're just riveted to the whole season. I was like marathoning.
Oh, yeah, I remember that whole season,
The whole cameo season. Like it got a little, but I'm like, who?
And then we find out, then we find out who it was, and then there was a few episodes about the cameo.
Can I do my cameo imitation?
You know.
I was hooked on that. I was hooked on that whole season, honestly. I really was. I was like, this cameo thing is killing me.
It's cool. It was cool. It was a good season.
I was really, really interested in that.
Yeah.
Like the whole season, that was like the whole Mountain Ash thing, right? That was the
No,
whole,
that was after.
Was that after that season?
Oh, no, that was the Mountain Ash season, wasn't it? Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
that was at the end,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
That whole thing I really liked,
Yeah.
and because they screwed him and Bernard.
Mountain Ash! He was Mountain Ash!
I was not expecting that.
And that actor has that weird way of speaking. He has that weird voice.
He does.
He's a good voice actor too, but he has that weird cadence to his speech or whatever. But
I love him.
Mountain Ash! That was the best.
I really love him.
That was the best exclamation from a villain who's been foiled ever.
Ever.
I think there's like tons of Mountain Ash!
He got screwed
He got
so
screwed
bad.
really
and
bad.
I loved it. That whole season I just loved. I really did. Like, each season has a consistent story. I think last season they actually tried to put too much into the plot.
Yes,
There was a
lot going
There was a
on.
lot happening.
There was a lot going
Instead of it just being about the Duroc, you had the Deucalion, and you had all of this stuff happening. And I think that they went too. They get a little crazy. Up to that, we had like one plot structure that was a very clear story. I think they tried to cram too much in. But I would rather have too much plot than no plot.
Okay.
I guess is what it comes down to.
Sure.
I don't want them to get too crazy and try to fit too much into one season. But at
Or try
least
to link things together that you didn't
that
plan.
don't need to be linked.
So you threw this and you threw this in, but they're not linked. But now you feel like you have to link them at the end of the season.
At the end of the season, and
you
it
have
doesn't. And then you make a
exposition.
flashback.
Then you make a
Flash
flashback.
black.
Oh, flashback.
Flashback.
Or you put a lot of exposition, you know, dialogue.
Yeah, and that
in or something
didn't
like
that didn't work too well.
No.
I hope that they tie it up, but I still would rather have plot. So Teen Wolf wins this one because there's actually a story to follow, and Pretty Little Liars just makes stuff up to show clothes. Really, is what it comes down
Right.
to. It's a plotless fashion show, is what I've always called it, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you're looking for a story, there isn't one.
No.
There isn't one.
There really-